All right, welcome back. Lake Effect Sports. And the Indians didn't look good. That's the nice way to put it.
Yep.
They had a bit of a rough spot. Matt, give me a little rundown.
Um, since we kind of had a bit of we took a week off from last week, so we it's been very up and down to say the least. Like ever since Savali went down, the pitching has just been sometimes it's good, sometimes it's really bad, sometimes it's okay, and then the bullpen kind of like is the workload from their on their end is starting to take their toll. It's just all over the place, and it's not been great.
That's a big key thing too. Like just as we saw last night, it's not even just game by game pitchers are hit or miss. It's inning by inning. You had JC Mejia throwing a phenomenal start to this game, and then snap the fingers, little error out in right field from Harold, and it fell. The wheels fell off the bus quickly, and that's kind of just it hasn't felt very great recently, and we need a pitcher back right now.
Yeah, the Indians are in survival mode right now. Like they just need to get through these next 2 weeks of the all till the All-Star break with a semblance of like just 500 baseball, and they should be fine. But the thing is, they're going to be facing the Astros and then the Rays, and then they get a breather with the Royals. But even then, it's like you can't take the Royals like any less seriously than the Astros and the Rays. Like that's just they're not that good right now because of the state of the roster because of all the injuries.
And there's no easy win right now with this pitching rotation. It's tough to say. So the question I got for you is this kind of turning you away from being a buyer at the deadline?
I don't know if, but that's a good question because like I think when healthy, this is a good roster, but when is everything going to come together health wise? Like how long can you mend the tide with what's going on right now? Like I don't know if like they'll be absolutely buying like crazy, but maybe they'll make small moves that like to like at least stabilize things. Like you know how they've been kind of picking up pitchers like Brad Peacock and a couple others. They might bring up those guys to at least bring up veteran presence like in the rotation to at least stabilize things for a little bit.
Those are at least guys who you trust to throw 5, 6-ish okay innings, and they need to start coming into the rotation now because there's not a guy I really trust. I think JC Mejia and Quantrill are good pitchers, just not yet, and especially not right now. They've got too much pressure on them. If one of those guys are your number 4 or 5 starter, it's so much less pressure for them. They kind of don't have the weight of the weight of the world on their shoulders. So there just kind of needs to be something changed.
Yeah, like you said, if it was a fourth or fifth starter like option, like they probably are, there wouldn't be as much pressure, and you could kind of like roll with the punches. But since they're kind of been your 1 and 2 potential wise, it's kind of like how most teams operate when they're not great pitching wise. Like that's kind of what you're seeing with all these injuries piling up, and you're seeing like not so these guys that potential wise might only be fourth or fifth are now your 1 and 2, and it's like you're seeing the result of your depth just being lackluster right now.
And that's just the worst part about it. Because I think when the team's healthy, they are that fringe playoff team. So my second question, you okay with selling veterans like a Cesar Hernandez and Eddie Rosario and kind of letting, say, Ernie Clement take over full-time at second base? Calling up some younger guys in the minors, maybe giving Nolan Jones a shot. What's your thought there?
I would agree if things get worse from here. Like if they kind of just are hanging around, they're not worse than this, but then they're slowly getting healthy. I say stick with them. They're only 1 year rentals, and like I would say only if things get worse from here.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the boat to sell right now just to give this younger talent where this year wouldn't really count against them some major league at bats. They're all starting to hit a little better. Give Daniel Jones maybe a shot up here. He's been hitting close to 300 recently. Nolan Jones has been hitting almost 300 with a 400 on base percentage.
Mhm.
How long can you let those guys sit down there?
That's true. They need to figure out who's going to be a part of their future. They have like a 40-man crunch that they got to figure out who to protect in the next offseason. So they got to figure out who they want to keep and who they want to like let go, pretty much.
There's some easy ones that you can get rid of, like a Yu Chang and stuff like that. And even someone like, I am not sold on Austin Hedges. I don't think his defense is anything insane, and his bat is nearly worthless most of the time.
True. Yeah, like he's going to be a career backup, and you don't know how important he is as that backup. So like I can see from that stand, but I think he's more or less going to be a safe, just because he's at least solid for what he is when he's not a full-time like starter the way he's been used.
Yeah. And then there's some of those like back end bullpen arms. A Phil Maton could be in trouble.
True.
Is Steven still Tyler Steven, whatever his name is, even still on the roster right now? He's in AAA, right?
Trevor Stephan?
Trevor Stephan, that guy. He's
been here and there. It's just they don't really use him because they need the depth, but like the way it is, they kind of use him just here and there.
Yeah. All right. So kind of a difficult situation. And I got an even more difficult situation right here. We're going to do 3 stars of the week.
Okay.
Who has first pick?
I think it's you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take the easy pick. I'm just going to take Bobby Bradley.
Okay.
Again. He keeps proving me wrong week after week after week. He's murdering baseballs. He's OPSing almost 1,000 right now. The average is kind of low, so obviously you want to get a little more contact, but when you're slugging like that and you're getting on base like crazy.
Yeah, you'll live with it.
Jordan Shrug.
Yeah,
I'll live with it. There's not much more to say about it. He's murdering baseballs, and he held down that middle of the order with Franmil out. So you can have your first pick.
Yep. I think for me, let's see. Yeah, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
I'll say a mid just because he's still been relatively reliable at the 2-hole. Like he's still kept his average around 280-ish, and he's been great in the 2-hole for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, he was one of the guys that didn't suck recently.
Yep.
All right, and I'm going to choose another one of those guys who just kind of didn't suck. Harold.
Yes.
Kind of kept his average around 280. This is a really tough 3 stars. There was not a lot of bright spots. And I'm choosing, yeah, that guy didn't have a bad week. Not, oh man, he usually we're like, Karinchak, he had 2 saves. He struck out 10 batters. It's like Harold didn't lower his average that much this week. So I'm going to choose Harold.
Yeah, you're just kind of like, same thing with like Ahmed and Harold. It's just like they were pretty good for the most part. You can, like you just kind of are like, those are the picks. So, oh my God, it's going to get more difficult. Let's see. I'll say like Caesar and for my next pick. I know, man. I can't think of anything right now.
The bullpen wasn't very good. The starters were awful. I don't know. Yeah, sure. He didn't lower his 220 average, I guess, this week. Yeah.
What he averaged with 12 home runs. Like he's at least hitting home runs, I guess. Like that's all I got.
Yeah, he did do that. All right, I'm gonna take a sellout pick. Maybe you can have a sellout pick. I'm gonna take Josh Naylor.
Yeah.
He's got the broken leg. Feel bad for him. He'll be out for a while. Kind of praying for Josh Naylor to recover quickly. So, Josh Naylor.
Yeah.
Ooh, didn't play and got hurt. That's a 3rd star. All right, Matt. Let's finish up this 3 stars.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll just give it to. I'll give it to Eddie, I guess. And then that's it. That's it for me. Like he's just another guy that hasn't been spectacular, but fine. That's another one.
All right, those were our 3 stars. We didn't name one pitcher this week because they all kind of sucked. Maybe Nick Sandlin. Nick Sandlin could have been on that list. So he's
Yeah.
an honorary mention of he didn't suck in the bullpen.
Yep. I can definitely agree with that because the big three were not great the last couple weeks.
No. Okay. Sticking in baseball news, we have a serious topic.
Oh boy.
Okay. So Trevor Bauer, he was suspended today. Did you see how long he was suspended for?
They said like
Indefinite?
a 7-day administrative leave or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna just choose my words very wisely here.
Okay.
He allegedly, I don't want to accuse him, sexually assaulted a female partner. Was some of it consensual? Maybe. Was some of it assault? Maybe. That's my stance on it. I would like to see more news before I kind of say this happened or he should be suspended like this. I think the Dodgers made the correct decision of not playing him right now. I'm leaning towards it doesn't look too great for Trevor, no matter what happens. So I think the Dodgers kind of made the right move. I think that it's not, they weren't trying to. It seemed like they were going to avoid making the right move, but now they've kind of come around to it. So what's your thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, like when I read the report, it just seemed like, yeah, this is bad. There could be some gray area, but it's still really bad. Because either way, like his public image is going to take a hit because there's even if he gets out scot free or it's just a long suspension, he's essentially like done in the public eye. Everybody's going to hate him, like depending on who you are. Like that, yeah. It's just that's my take. Either way, how this ends, it's not going to be great for him.
Yeah. Let's move on from that one.
Yep.
Let's go to something happier. College players. They can make money. And I think the NCAA, they're getting a lot of heat for like not doing it perfectly. I like the decision as a whole. Players, I don't think colleges should pay players, but I think if you're an athlete, go make as much money off your name as possible. There's been so many guys throughout the years who have lost out on literal millions of dollars. Specifically, I'm just thinking Ohio State guys who didn't make it in the pros, who lost
Okay.
a lot from college just having to get nothing from it. So that's I think it's a simple stance. If you don't agree with it, you're a dummy, basically.
Oh yeah, like this has been long overdue. Like, and now I just think of all the different athletes that could have made so much money over the past couple of years, like Trevor Lawrence, Zion, if he had the ability to make money for 1 year, and like all the different athletes.
Time out. Zion made money. Let's not pretend
Oh,
the Duke
oh,
Bagman weren't. Yeah, okay. Let's say Jeff Capel and all those guys didn't pay Zion. All right, go on.
Oh, he probably did make money, but it was probably hush hush. Like that, like there's like some players definitely were making money. Nobody was like public about it. But yeah, it's been long enough. Like let these guys make money. However, they should be able to, no matter what your status is in college, you should be able to make money, basically.
My cat. I didn't even know it was in here when I started. I'm just gonna leave that door open. It was just like I look back and I see like just it pawing, like just trying to get out. Didn't even run out. It ran under my bed. Whatever. It's a dumb. I don't like that cat. But yes, paying players long overdue. People always got paid. My kind of other thing from that whole story is what's your thoughts on Reggie Bush getting his Heisman? Well, obviously not. Do you think his Heisman should be reinstated?
Yeah, I saw that. And I was thinking, like, should the NCAA retroactively give his Heisman back? I don't know, because at the time, the rules are the rules, and like his Heisman got taken away for that reason. But I don't know if they can. I don't know if it's right to just change history, like just because the rules have changed now. Like it is what it is.
I fully agree with that stance. He broke the rules then, and he would still be breaking the rules now. Someone bought a house for him. He didn't take a sponsorship deal. Like, he broke the rules, and he would still be breaking the rules. The rules were the rules. The rules were stupid, And they still are stupid. But that's what it is. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, you can't just change history just because it's not because things have changed now. It's like you can't change the timeline. It's like how in Loki, like you can't change the timeline. You can't change the sacred timeline. Like it is what it is. You can't change it.
And I think that kind of switches over to just another topic with the 100-meter sprinter, the women's 100-meter sprinter who was suspended. She was smoking weed, and my thought is, one, it's horrible that her mother passed away, and if she's using that to help with some of the pain, I fully understand that. Two, if she's like actually like smoking, I feel like that's awful for a runner, right?
Yeah, that would be bad for your lungs because like when you run, your lung capacity is like very important, especially as a runner. Like that's how you help that's a part of how you get your speed, right?
Yeah. But then on the other side, it is so dumb that she is getting suspended for something that we are both agreeing is bad for you as a runner.
Yeah, like especially with how society is now with weed. It's like if this was 20 years ago, I would understand like, yeah, that's just dumb. Nowadays, like people smoke weed. It's
It's
less
legal in half the states.
Yeah, and now it's like weed, gambling, it's kind of becoming less taboo. So why is this rule even on the books now? Like I don't get it. Like it's so archaic.
Yeah. But in the wise words of Stephen A. Smith, stay off the weed. Come on. If you're an Olympic athlete, like I said, she's probably was using it to help with the passing of her mother, like she said. But I'm sure that's not the only reason. I'm sure she didn't just start smoking weed. I'm assuming that's probably horrible what I'm doing. But you couldn't just not smoke for the whole entire month before the Olympics. You're a track and field athlete. There's like one thing that anyone besides your sport cares about during every 4 years. You had to figure it out. And she still is competing in the 100 meter in the relays.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like if the rule's still there, you probably shouldn't have smoked. Like that's the thing. Like we call it dumb, but at the same time, the rule is still there. Like, yeah, couldn't you not smoke for at least 1 week? What, like if it was like a random drug test, yeah, that's kind of crappy. But at the same time, it's like you had to be prepared somehow because it was gonna happen.
Yeah, you had your 3-month period of your life where you probably shouldn't be doing any illegal drugs.
Yeah, like yeah, it's just weird because honestly, yeah, it's like definitely understandable because of mental health, but at the same time, it's like like you couldn't smoke weed for 1 month or however long the window was.
Yeah. So NBA, final thing of the day, I think. Playoffs. Suns, they made the finals. CP3, first finals. Bucks, feels like they're about to make the finals. This whole series depends on the health of Trae Young and Giannis, just whatever they are.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe the upcoming finals, even.
Yeah, it's so weird because usually like injuries are not this prevalent in terms of playoff, but this you could argue the whole playoffs have had injuries determine each series in a way. Like LeBron and AD not being 100% when the Suns facing them. You could argue the Sixers weren't at their best with like Embiid playing on one leg essentially. Like I think there was like a graphic that said there were 9 different players, star players that missed the playoffs, and they were all crucial players.
Yeah, and I think that list might be up to 11 now with Trae Young and Giannis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it sucks, but I think what's really happening right now is the Suns are actually a wagon, and I think they're gonna just destroy whoever comes out of the East.
Oh yeah, like I agree. Like I thought they were going to be the team to beat in the finals after they beat the Lakers because the way that they've played. Like they deserve to be here. No matter what the naysayers say with all the injuries, they probably deserve to be there the most because they were the number 2 seed and they were really good in the regular season and they showed that in the postseason.
I think that's the part people are really forgetting about this Suns team. They were dominant all year long. It just they were the Suns, and they were been so bad for so long that everyone overlooked them. But they were great all year. They beat good teams all year. Now they're beating good teams in the playoffs. Injured or not, they're beating whoever's in front of them. I hate the whole this is an asterisk. Like, no. You play what's in front of you and you beat what's in front of you. The Suns could get hurt too. They're not. They happen to stay healthy. That's the luck you play.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a perfect title. There's a little bit of luck that affects a title. Like if their luck is that they're pretty much healthy. The only scare that they had was CP3 with the COVID situation, but more or less they've been lucky enough to be in the position they are. That's what annoys me about how championship culture is when in terms of championships, especially the NBA. They're so dismissive of how teams win their titles. I know with being Cavs fans, we would always dog on the Warriors. Hey, you wouldn't have probably won if Kyrie and K Love were there. But that's the thing. It's a hypothetical, and they won. They did their job. And then Warriors fans complained that if Draymond didn't get suspended one game, they probably would have won. But that's the thing. They still had to win. So, and that's just how it is sometimes. Like there's no such thing as a perfect championship. There's something that affects it a little bit, but still teams have to do their job to win.
Yes, and that's the best way to describe it. You can look back at any champion ever, and there is something that happened that probably helped them some, and you could just take it away from them. Even like those great Warriors teams, they were getting crushed by the Spurs in their first game of the Western Conference Finals, and then lands on Zaza's ankle and he's done.
Oh, yeah.
Every year. It's dumb to say that this championship's an asterisk. You're never going to find a perfect championship in sports.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm just so sick of the whole Mickey Mouse, like, just narrative that people like to throw around. It was funny for, like, the first couple weeks, but now it's just, like, become the lazy take that every troll makes. Like, come on, guys. Like, are we childish? Are we that childish? Like, can we get past this?
Yeah. The bubble ones were kind of funny. And that's also because I was like, Lakers, I can discredit LeBron some. He won a bubble one in Orlando. It doesn't count. But it does. Never going to take it away from him. It does. It counts. That's the moral of the story. Final thing. Bucks, Hawks, who you got?
I say Bucks because Middleton is their star player at the moment, and they looked really good yesterday. So I'm going Bucks.
And I think with Clint Capella being down, maybe now too, Brook Lopez finally showed up. Look at that. Brook Lopez can actually do something.
Yeah, for real. Like, the Bucks are so confusing. Like, they're so talented, yet so frustrating at the same time that they could be a lot better than how they play sometimes. But because of how inconsistent they are, they always get themselves in trouble, it seems like.
Yeah. And if Giannis is back in at least, let's say, 80% of Giannis, who on the Suns is going to stop that? I mean, DeAndre Ayton can kind of stop him a little in the paint, but there's only so much you can stop that guy.
For real, yeah. Like, especially if he's aggressive and doesn't just settle for shots. Like, he's unstoppable in the paint.
Oh, yeah. So, again, I like the Bucks finish off the Hawks. Trae Young might be back for game 6. He might not. I don't know. I kind of might like the Hawks game 6, Bucks taking it in 7, though.
Yeah, I can see a scenario where Trae just guts it out and, like, finds a way to win, but then ultimately, because he's still rusty because of his injury, the Bucks take it.
Yeah, I agree. So, you got anything else, Matt?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Check us out. Twitter, TikTok. See you guys next time. Peace out.